Hi everyone, welcome to the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name's Steve Reeves and I'll be your host. We actually have 4 hosts tonight. We've got James, we've got Harvey, and we've got Carlos, and we're all going to do a generic help show and also what's new in computers. We got all kinds of great news. It is a live show. It's November 4th, Thursday, and the phone number is 861-6283, 861-6283. So stay tuned, call us. Make sure you call us and ask any questions, and we'll be right back.
Portions of the American Computer Enthusiast Show made possible by Total CAD Systems, your authorized AutoCAD and Autodesk multimedia dealer. For more information on AutoCAD or 3D Studio, call 721-2233.
Some people who start forest fires never even set foot in the forest.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seized several tons of crack and marijuana, and closed down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Hi everyone, in case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves and I'm one of the hosts tonight. We actually have 4 hosts. I know people are getting kind of tired of all these hosts, but we're all on here tonight. We've got James DiMaggio, we've got Harvey Schifrin, and we've got Carlos Ramirez. And we're all going to answer questions about anything you want to know. We've got all kinds of great news, what's new coming out, what's Windows 4.0, some news. Can we talk about that? No, we can't talk about Windows.
That was mine.
Oh, well.
Oh.
No, I'm not saying it. Well, I'm telling we're getting a little preview what's going to happen. MS-DOS 6.2 we've got on the computer. We're going to talk about what's new and what's different about that. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with all the Microsoft products, Office, the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Windows for Workgroups, WordPerfect, all kinds of great fun things. So make sure you call in. Phone number is 861-6283, 861-6283. It's November 4th, right? Yeah, November 4th. Call us with any kind of question you might want to have. We've already got callers.
Cool.
People are hot. They got news.
Gotta be Irv.
No, it's not. It's David. You want to start? We might as well take. So you want to take some calls? Why don't we go right into it? Let's go right into it.
Uh-oh. This is out of norm.
David, do you have a question?
Yes. First off, I'd like to comment. I like your show very much. You guys do an excellent job.
Thanks.
Thank you, David.
And secondly, what is your opinion on the new Microsoft Word for Windows 6.0 package?
All right. You've seen it? You've got it?
Well, I have. I saw the package previewed a couple times now so far, and it looks very interesting, and I'm wondering how it's really going to work on my machine when I get it home. But it looks pretty awesome. There's the one thing that sticks out in my mind all the time is the spell check as you go. So as you're typing, it's spell checking. I'm wondering if that's really going to slow somebody down like a 100 word per minute typist or not.
Can you turn it on and off?
Right, you can.
Oh, you can. Okay.
So it'll be controllable. There's a lot of neat features in it. I've seen it demoed twice, and
When's he coming out?
Is it
okay. Here's the deal. It's what do they call it? RTM night now. It went to manufacturing yesterday, I believe, is when it shipped. They sent
what
it
is
to
RTM?
It's like right to manufacturing or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I forget what it stands. It says for something manufacturing, but it went to manufacturing. So you should be seeing it maybe next week or the following week in the stores. And I believe the upgrade is going to be pretty reasonable price, somewhere around $89 at your dealers. So. If I may, I'll continue, but this is a big thing Microsoft is doing. It's going to be the biggest thing we've ever seen in the computer industry, supposedly. At least it's supposed to be They had the rollout about 2 weeks ago with Bill Gates, closed circuit TV everywhere. I think we're going to see a lot more stuff, coverage in the news, newspaper, Wall Street, USA Today, and CNN, things like that. And you'll probably see your ads all over the cable channels, and probably during Nightline and newscasts. Also, they're going to be, the next thing that's going to happen, is that computer
My
talking?
computer's talking.
It's competing. Okay. The interesting thing is Microsoft's really going to push this product called Office. An Office, as many people know, is the combination of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you get a node for mail. It's just a license to use mail.
Also
And,
Access.
excuse me?
Also Access.
Access.
Oh, well, okay, now that's called, when it has Access in it, it's called Office Professional. So there's actually two versions of Office. Currently, there's one called Office, and then there's Office Professional, which includes Access.
The newest version that I've seen in the catalogs also refers to it as Microsoft Office Standard, which includes 6.0 and a coupon for the new release of Excel.
Right, that's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is there's going to be an Office, and it's 4.0 is the version number, because I know there's some press that was out there calling it 5.0, but it's actually going to be called 4.0. And it's going to have Word 6.0, Excel, a coupon for Excel 5.0, which should ship towards the end of this month, and also a coupon for PowerPoint 4.0, which should ship in December sometime. And that'll be all, those 3 units there will be the primary units for Office 4.0. And if you want, you can get Access, which will make it Office Professional. The upgrade will be eligible, if you own any of those products, you'll be able to upgrade somewhere around $239 to $249 will be the street price for the Office suite, they call it. Well, suite's using somebody else's term, but the Office product, suite of products. So you'll have
these products being debugged properly. With the advanced release that I see, it seems like they're going to market before they've done an adequate beta test site. Have they done sufficient testing, in your opinion?
From what I understand, it's been tested thoroughly, and it's actually been out. They've been talking about Word 6.0 for at least 4 months or longer that I've been aware of, at least for over the last 4 months. I remember sometime in the summer it came up that it was going to go to 6.0, and I thought it went to beta somewhere around there. So it's been out for quite a while. And so is Excel 5.0.
Right.
Thank you very much. I'll hang up and continue listening.
Hey,
All right,
thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Now, one other thing, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, to, if you have more than one of those products, to actually buy the Office, doesn't make much sense to upgrade each individual product, does it?
Right, that's what the whole idea is. There's something happening here. People probably realizing this. It's with respect to what they call horizontal applications, which the 2 major horizontals are word processing and spreadsheets. And now also they're trying to integrate, it's a way to sell these other products that kind of sat around, business graphics presentation products. With these 3 products, they reduced the price and basically have given you 1.5 free over the last couple of years to entice you to buy their suite. That does a few things for people, and Lotus and Microsoft both do this. Also, Borland and WordPerfect are doing a combined thing called Borland Office. And theirs includes WordPerfect 6.0, Quattro Pro 5.0, and Paradox for Windows 4.5. So, and then
well, there's
go ahead.
There's a lot of controversy when Quattro came out with their, or Borland came out with their Quattro, and what happened there is they started selling it for like $50 to just about anybody. You know, if you synthesize oxygen into carbon dioxide, you can get it for $50, and you know that caused a lot of. Oh, you just got that. Okay, well, it caused a lot of controversy because Lotus and the other spreadsheet people from Microsoft were saying that that was just a way of grabbing market share. But if you look at what's going on with the Microsoft Office, you're actually buying all the components for about, what, $60 each?
Around there.
Yeah, it's like $240, yeah, $240 for, you know, 4 things. This is $60 each. So what we're seeing is just a general price compression and a real big fight for market share. Because I think, you know, the first guy's out. If Microsoft comes out with it and you buy their Office, you won't need anybody else's stuff.
All right. Go to the next caller. You want to go to the next caller?
Well, I got a comment on it.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
because I want to add a little bit.
I knew you would.
Of something. You knew I would. David, I think that what you're seeing is the beginning of what Bill Gates wants to call the intelligent desktop. I think that we're going to see a new thing with Visual Basic. I'm calling it an end user language to program the desktop the way that you want it. It's another step up from Windows to make everything come down to the way that you want to customize the way you work. They're using some intelligence. I played with 6.0, but now I was running it on a 33, and I'm not that. Oh no, I was running it on a 48666, and I'm not that fast typist. I didn't see any speed variance as far as mine, and I was intentionally making errors. I think autocorrect's one of the greatest things that's ever happened. I want it in my email. I want it in everything that I do because I am too lazy to generally run a spell checker. So.
How much disk space is that going to take, Carlos? Do you have any idea of Office, for example? If you have all those products.
It's estimated Office will take like 110 meg.
Okay.
That's for all the apps, though. That's not, when you
Windows
think about
4.0
it.
is 40
That's
meg.
not for your documents.
Yeah.
Right.
So it depends. You know,
Wow.
like WordPerfect.
So you have to use double space then.
Well, yeah, you have to buy Microsoft DOS. The WordPerfect 6.0 is 33 meg, approximately. If you install everything, not all printer drivers, but just all the modules. So, and Quattro Pro's at minimum 10 meg, and it's can be up to 20 if you buy the workgroup edition. It's like 22 meg on a workgroup edition. And say, for example, you use something like Freelance Graphics, that's another 21 meg of disk space. So, I mean, you know, the 110 meg sounds like a shocker at first, but really now it's not that big of a shocker.
Well, and then look at it this way. Between DOS 6.2, which we're going to show you a little bit later, and Windows 4.0 Chicago, you're eating up 47 megs of hard drive space. 6 megs plus on the DOS and 40 megs for Windows.
You still need DOS with
well,
Chicago?
Nah, but you're going to probably put it in there. More than likely, you will probably run it.
So OS 2 is not that bad.
So there's some other things that are going on with that. It's really interesting. I mean, it's going to turn everything upside down.
They'll need to get another city before you could go without DOS.
Right, like St. Louis.
That's right.
There's
Omaha.
also, you know, we're talking about that. There's an interesting thing. If you're buying a machine right now, anything underneath 200 meg hard drives is being discontinued. Forget about it. The days of 80 megs and 120s, they're gone. The manufacturers are just not producing them.
Right.
They're adding extra platters to them, and they're bumping them up.
Right.
340 meg is nothing nowadays. It's nothing.
What's the street? What are they?
Under $300, you know, right around $300. So,
Let's
you know,
take another
just which way you can go. Go for it.
Ann, do you have a question?
Yes, I'd like to know what you guys might know about this Microsoft Select MBLP package.
Are you a corporate site or education?
Corporate.
Okay. Actually, that's you need to talk to Microsoft Direct because that's something that's it's a very limited and it involves a lot of desktops, and that program will be changing.
What is it that she's talking about?
It's a agreement between Microsoft and a customer to purchase large quantities of product.
Volume purchase agreement.
Right, but it's not like just anybody can't sell it. You can't walk into a store and buy it, and not every dealer can sell it. It's actually only offered by a select few dealers.
Oh, that's why they call it.
I take it that you offer it.
Depending, it's also based on your eligibility is based on the site and how many PCs you have, and it's actually a very aggressive program. Lotus offers one, and so does WordPerfect, and so does Borland. So, if you, I think my phone number will appear somewhere. If not, you can call, or somebody here can give you the phone number, and I can direct you maybe on that select deal.
I'd like to get that number.
It's 789.
Yes.
6300, and I'm Carlos. And you can call me, sometime and say you're the viewer from the Access, and see what we can do.
Okay, great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling. We have some more callers, but did you want to Well, we have to take a break in just a few minutes. How long do we have till a break? Just a couple minutes or a minute? 1 minute? Oh, we have plenty of time. You want to take another caller? Let's just take another caller here.
Okay, what the heck?
John, do you have a question? John? John, you there? Apparently not.
Okay, well, let's just
John?
build a minute.
Well, anyways, yeah. Minute's up now. We want to talk anything about DOS 6.2?
Well, I was going to ask James a question because you said you'd worked with the Windows 6.0 and the autocorrect. Now, does that kind of get in the way? I mean, I think if you're typing along and all of a sudden you make a couple mistakes, you're typing along real fast, and does it get in your way and slow you down any?
It didn't slow me down any. What I ran into was I'm typing away, and I'm one of those horrible typists that looks at the keyboard, and I didn't even notice that it was correcting this stuff, okay? Because remember, we're caching, we're doing everything up in memory, not actually out to the drive. So it's really not that big of a deal because as you're typing, we got type head buffers and everything built in. So I didn't notice any speed degradation to talk of. Now, I don't type 110 words a minute or something like that, but then again, I know 110 word a minute people that don't run Windows, period.
Right.
We're going to have to take a quick break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Shamu,
And the Texas tuxedos.
Shamu,
We go everywhere he goes. Can help us make a great big splash if we all get rid of roadside trash.
Shamu,
And to all this message reaches,
Shamu.
don't forget about our beaches. Can lend a hand or fin. Come on, let's all pitch in.
Yeah.
Don't mess with Texas.
Shamu.
Here's one time it doesn't matter who your neighbor is. Here's the other. Life's too short. Stop the hate.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name's Steve Reeves, and I'm the host tonight, or the head host. I'm the head host. Right? I have the most head showing here, I know that. But
Good thing we're on Access Television.
Right. James DiMaggio, we got Harvey Schifrin, and Carlos Ramirez. We're all hosts all the time. But we're doing a general help show tonight. We're answering any kind of question you might have on DOS, Windows, what's new. We've also got lots of news on what's coming out. So, and don't forget the phone number is 861-6283. It is November 4th, Thursday night, live show. Call in, ask us any kind of question. Carlos said he wanted to make one more comment on sweets.
Okay. As everybody's probably noticed, or not everybody, but all of you out there in TV land have noticed, Lotus, Microsoft, Borland, as I mentioned before, they have produced these suite of products, or we're getting back, I think, and this will be a really noticeable in Office 4.0. There used to be some pretty smart ideas out there called Symphony, Enable, Framework. And everybody shot them down because, they weren't component. Kind of like the old, receiver, buying a receiver. I used to always buy my stereos in components because it was better than buying everything in one, like a compact. And these products suffered the same stigma. So you had products like Symphony, which actually were pretty good products, and they had Lotus and a Lotus word processor. But at the time, I guess everybody couldn't make every product great. Well, now those people have had a chance to be around a while, and they all make great products. If if you look at the 3 suites, the 3 major ones, they're Office from Microsoft, and it has the 3 products, the 3 major products that comprise it are all good products. Same with the Borland Office, and same with the Lotus Smart Suite. All the products in there are actually good products. So we're going back to an integrated package, is what the old ones were called. And pretty soon, right now they're not integrated. They're separate components in one box. So physically, the box is integrated, but on your PC, it's 3 different apps or 4 different apps. Next, we'll see is one tying application, tying all of them together. And James alluded to this earlier when he was talking about Visual Basic. What that's going to do is going to give the publishers a capability to give you the desktop, the customizable desktop. So, for example, I use a spreadsheet, but I don't use everything in the spreadsheet. I just use the little cells and a little couple of functions here and there. And I don't do graphs. Okay. So this kind of stuff, I can build my own desktop. I can build my application right, just choosing tools. We're going to go to a tools-oriented thing. That's it. Thanks.
All right.
So soapbox down there? So if you buy everybody's office, then you just need a whole office building.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next caller here. Jim, do you have a question?
Yes, that stereo analogy was real good, Carlos. I like that one.
Right. Yeah, because now it's the best thing. Now everything comes all in one big component.
Yeah, but you have integrated stereos now, too, that have the Dolby sound and everything in them,
Yeah,
and they're at the top of the line.
Right, now they are. But
Yeah.
before, you had to buy
Right.
components.
Right.
Yeah, we're going in the same
No,
thing.
no
That's a good
Pioneer
point.
stuff.
Right. You have a question?
I have 2 questions. First, I don't use communications programs. I don't network, don't have need of it at the moment. And so my Windows applications often hang up on little subroutines with that maddening running clock. Is anybody designing software that will allow long-running things like number crunching in graphics programs when there's a lot of convoluted image processing and things to run in the background while you go do something else? I've got micrographics, the photo program that they've got, Photo Magic, and the Aldus Photo Styler. And I'm just wondering, is there a high-end image processing program that will do these convoluted image processing jobs and let you get on with the rest of your work?
Who wants it? You want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead,
guys.
James.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, what kind of computer do you have?
It's a 48633 with Visa Local Bus, Orchid VLB board in it.
How much memory?
8 megs.
8 megs. Okay. Basically, there is nothing there. You have to understand the Windows operating system time slices. Okay, it's not true multitasking, unfortunately. And that means that if a process is going on in the background, it slows around, and it's very number intensive or CPU intensive, that it slows down the foreground operations. But you can send these things to the back if you tweak what files you're running, like your program information files or your WinINI or your SysINI. There are standards that you can give background priority to certain task functions. They get more complicated. One of the things that I would recommend if you want something to tweak it that's kind of easy to use is a program called WinSense. It's pretty easy, and you can set that up for, I want to do a lot of graphics, I want to do a lot of background processing, and it will tweak your INI files for you. Or you can always do it the old-fashioned technical way, read the resource book and modify that stuff. There's ways of tuning and tweaking. I do communications in the background and do 14.4, downloads constantly, and have email up and word processing up and everything in the foreground. So you can make it work if you sit there and tweak it.
Could I ask one more quick question?
Sure.
Sure.
I got my computer company supplier went bottom up or belly up recently, and I can't inquire of them, but something in the manual, they said they redirect COM2 to COM4, the base port, 2E8 instead of 2F8 standard. I notice I'm getting a little tentative warning from the Orchid saying that it uses that address to communicate, and there may be a problem, which never develops because I haven't used that COM port, COM2 or COM4 yet. When they say they redirected that, is that customarily done by a dip switch on the board somewhere?
Actually, it depends on which way you're doing it. You can do it hardware level, or you can do it in Windows itself and reassign the address for COM2. I'm not sure, I'm not exactly clear. When you boot up your machine, do you get a readout that shows you your COM ports?
Yes.
Okay,
and
what kind of machine
is base port 2E8, which is kind of odd.
Okay, that's hardware. All right, it should be 2F8.
Right.
And what you need to do is, I do not ever recommend sharing the IRQs inside these machines at this speed and when you're doing the processing. Just disable it. Open it up, take out your serial card, and disable that port that's redirected over COM4. It's usually just one jumper on the serial card will make it go from COM2 to COM4. And then there'll be one other one that will enable or disable it. And you'll need to look at your manual. They're all different.
But if I need to hook up an external modem in the future, wouldn't I need my COM2 back on 2F8 normally to...
That's correct, but you said that the Orchid is using 2F8?
2E8.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Yes, just move it back to 2F8. There's no reason for it to be sitting out there.
And that can be done from Windows after I've booted up and gone into Windows now.
Change it on the hardware, and then let the hardware handle it for you.
Okay.
Okay. Make sure you got good UARTs if you're going to run high-speed modems.
Thank you very much.
Tell them the number.
16550C.
And want to explain that, because we have a lot of people buying external modems
that are going.
Well, they don't know.
Okay. If you're running an internal modem, ignore everything I'm about to say. If you're running an external modem, you have to use your serial card to transfer data. And when you're running at 14.4 and then doing compression to get it up to 57.6, you're creating a bottleneck on the older model UARTs. A UART is a chip that handles the communication between the external port and going down onto the bus of the computer. If you have to upgrade, period. If you're going to run a 14.4, you must upgrade. I highly recommend it. And you need a 16550C, and you can check that with almost any manufacturer. They can get you fixed up. All right. The internals all have their UARTs handled on them. That's why ignore everything I said.
Curiosity, on the Chicago, do you know if it's going to be multi-threaded?
What is Chicago, for those of you who don't know?
Oh, well, that's my kind of town.
Is that really Windows 4.0?
Yes. Chicago is the code name for Windows 4.0. It did go into beta test this last week. It is out there. It is going to take 40 megs of hard drive, people. If you don't have a drive, go ahead and get you one. They might end up tweaking it down, but it's big. It is a big, massive project. I can't really answer on the threading at this time.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, because what the caller was calling about, I think is what he requires is multi-threading,
right?
And he can get that in other operating systems right now, but the app would still have to be written to take that thread. So, for me, I think multi-threading. I hate printing sometimes in Windows because I can't switch. Sometimes when you start the print job and it's getting all the information, you can't switch, and if it's a real big multi-page with a lot of graphics thing, you're stuck, and you got to wait there until you can finally switch. By that time, I've hit Alt-Tab 18 times. I'm back to my program again.
I was going to ask you to start a big controversy. I was going to ask you, could you do it with OS2 or Windows NT?
Sure. OS2 is great for background processing. OS2 2.1. Because you can actually have different sessions running, and it just doesn't care.
That might be an option.
That's one of the better ones for handling.
But
that
again,
type of
the
thing
app has to be written to take advantage of the multi-threading of the system.
That's
same thing with NT.
He mentioned he used micrographics. So just a quick side here is you might want to talk to micrographics. They might have the photo, whatever they call the program. I forget. I should know. But whatever, they're in Dallas, and they might have an OS2 version either in beta or available, and check with them and see if you can get a test of that one. That might solve your problems with OS 2.
Right. All right. let's
That
take
or
another
hang
call.
loose for 4-0.
Yeah. It's next fall.
John, do you have a question?
Yes, I recently bought actually a computer. I'm going on Windows, and I'm looking at Suite. I'm looking at Lotus Smart Suite, and I hear all this talk about Microsoft Office. What would you recommend as a better suite or better office? I don't know how you term it, but in your opinion, which one do you think is a better buy and why?
All right. Did you hear the question?
What's better buy, Office or Lotus?
Lotus
Suite,
or
Smart Suite?
Microsoft's Suite?
Are you using a network?
No, this is a standalone.
Standalone only.
home.
What stuff are you using right now?
Are you using anything right now?
Computer-wise, I have a 486-33.
What software are you using?
I think he said he just bought it.
I just bought.
Did
Yeah,
it come with any free software?
Very novice computer user.
Okay.
All right.
Did it come with
I
anything?
just got Windows 3.0.
3.0?
Is it 3.0 or the 3.1?
3.1.
3.1.
Okay, and DOS, but they didn't throw in a word processor or anything?
Oh, that's the basic.
Wouldn't you say it probably really doesn't make any difference? They're
It
all good
depends.
and they're all pretty close.
Here's what I would do. I would decide who I am going to share files with if I'm going to share files. Like if you want to, say if you're going to do some schoolwork or your workplace uses Word, then I would tend to stick with Word. If your workplace is using ePro or Lotus, then I would probably go with Lotus. And again, if your workplace is using WordPerfect, you might talk to them and say, hey, are we going to go to WordPerfect for Windows? And what's the deal? Are we going to go to Quattro Pro or are we going to stay with Lotus? You know, get a feel from what your workplace is doing, so that way it'll make there'll be less snags when you're transferring files from work and home. And that's what a lot of people use their computers for.
Well, Carlos, what if so I'm at my office and we're using Word for Windows and Lotus 1, 2, 3 for Windows? Then what do I do?
Well, then you decide what do you use more, the word processor at work or the spreadsheet at work. Generally, you can transfer the data without a problem. Where it becomes a problem is the format.
Well, but isn't it true that if you've got Pro, you can, if you've got a WinWord file or a WordPerfect file, you can load it right into Pro and
well, that's
and save
not
it
going to next week.
Save it in those formats.
Well, you want to
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Next week, it will not matter because Pro will not be able to read the 6.0 file.
Your turn.
I didn't know. I thought James was going like, well, I just got married this year, and here's my
That's a hard issue. It's a hard thing. What you need to do is look at the products and see which features you can't live without and choose that.
But it's getting harder and harder to figure out which. I mean, they're pretty similar, real similar.
So
that doesn't answer your question.
So the best one to use is whichever one you get the best deal on.
Yeah, whatever you get the best price on, probably.
Can I make a suggestion? A lot of places, Lotus is...
we have to take a break.
Do we have to take another break?
But hurry.
Okay.
Hurry up, go real
okay,
fast,
hurry.
real fast.
Check with the manufacturers for demo. Talk to your resellers. See if you can get a quick demo of Eval or EveryPro. That's all.
All right. We're going to have to take a quick break here, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
There are countries where bread is scarce, but this is America. Countries where electricity is rare, but this is America. Countries where infant mortality is a problem, but this is America. Here, it's a crisis. Every 13 minutes, another infant dies. But we can help prevent many of those deaths with prenatal care from programs like Healthy Start. Find out what you can do. Why? Because this is America.
Remember how good it felt the first time you gave 5? Well, now there's another way to give 5. Set a goal to give more, 5 hours a week and 5% of your income to the causes you care about. It'll make you feel like a winner every day of your life. So give more. Give 5.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, like I say every single time, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name's Steve Reeves, and this is a live show. The phone number is 861-6283. It's Thursday, November 4th. We have James DiMaggio, Harvey Schifrin, and Carlos here to answer any kind of question you might have. And we've got lots of callers, so we're going to start right off the bat. We've got, let me turn the phone on here. Roberto, do you have a question?
Yeah, how you guys doing today?
Hey, Roberto.
I'm going to try to stump you guys. I got a real hard one here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, great.
Basically, I just want to see if you guys can explain the difference between CD-ROM, CD-ROM XA, CD-ROM I, photo CD, audio CD, the new VCD, that's MPEG compatible, and then the Sega CD.
Okay, next caller.
I'd like to know, why do you want to stump us?
This is the guy that calls all the talk shows on the radio.
There's a lot of
know
different-
most of these,
Well,
don't you?
like
Go for it.
photo CD. Well, let's go right down the line. Regular CD.
CD-ROM is just
CD-ROM.
Just CD-ROM, just a
High
CD
Sierra format.
Right. Like photo CD allows you to look at photos. Like you can actually have your 35 millimeter slides put right on there on your photo CD. A lot of CDs
That
are
means-
actually, our CD-ROMs are actually photo CD compatible.
That means that it will comply to the codec standard.
Right, exactly.
Go ahead.
Right. And then you've got
CDI
the multi-session
right.
on that, which means that
CDI
you can
is
keep
CD
putting new stuff on.
interactive, which means you can actually, I mean, who makes them like Philips and
Philips is
Magnavox,
the
I think,
standard
makes
on that
one.
one.
Philips and Magnavox are one.
And you can actually go in there and actually access things and interactively go back and forth.
I mean, it gets to
What was
the
the
point.
other-
Well, it gets to the point
That's
where
right.
if you put it in another realm, if you think of just the video games, you got Nintendo and Sega and Nintendo Plus, etc. It's just different manufacturer standards. They're using a CD-ROM disc, but they're all coded a different way, so only their machine can use it.
What was the other one? XA?
Right.
Yeah.
What's
extended architecture probably.
What is it? What is it? I don't know what the.
I haven't seen anything that requires it.
I haven't seen anything that's actually used that
I
says
actually
it's
just bought
got to
a
be
book.
XA.
I just bought a book at the bookstop that has every one of these the standards and what they are. It's like Introduction to CDs, and it has every one of them explained that he just asked about.
But it's almost like it's just different brands and different topics. It's really the same concept, but everybody applies it differently to their own particular standard.
Right. But if you want to use PCs, then like CDI is separate. So you have to understand if you buy CDI, it's probably not going to work.
You have to buy one of
on
the
your
Pioneer
CD-ROM.
or Philips VCR machines or CDI machines that run it.
I'm going to give you the code that you need to look for. MPC Level 2. Get that one. That will handle most of the stuff you want to see on a PC, period.
All right.
And 3DO looks cool, but I don't know how.
I'm trying to stump you guys. I was just basically with all the different.
We're just giving you a hard time, you know.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's our job, just
But
to
make
give
sure
you a
you
hard
call
time.
next week, whatever the topic is.
Windows next week. Watch.
Oh yeah, that's.
All right.
You want to make an
Thanks for
announcement
calling.
about that?
That's right, and we just
Okay,
have to
we've
know
got Leland. Do you have a question?
Yes, y'all were talking about the the new versions of Windows, new versions of DOS. It just happens that in today's mail, I got something from a company called Vertisoft, where they're offering me for $29.95 plus shipping and handling their Space Manager 1.5 and free MS-DOS 6.2 setup upgrade. I assume that by the setup upgrade, that's the difference between the DOS 6.0 and 6.2.
Right.
Now, does anybody know anything about this Space Manager 1.5? They say, for instance, that they use a data compression program, and I could actually decompress. I'm using double space right now, but I could apparently decompress that. I'd probably have to decompress it onto some backup tapes because I don't have
my
enough
hand
room
up.
on the disk.
Yeah.
But supposedly, if I did that, I could then use the Space Manager. Does anybody know how good that is compared to the double space? I'm gonna hang up now. So
All right. Thanks for calling. James and Harvey both know.
Harvey, go first.
Okay, well, Vertisoft are the people that wrote a lot of the code for the double space. And what the Space Manager is a program which extends it to, let's say, more of a full-blown or more comprehensive compression system. What you get when you get a double space bundled with DOS 6.2, which we have on the screen.
Yeah.
Right.
And is
VER.
okay. What you get is a very basic version. Now the Space Manager allows you to add certain features. Now I can't tell you offhand what those features are, but James knows what they are.
Basically, what you're getting with Vertisoft, and I'll take this one, is a wannabe Stacker 3.1. I hate to say that, but that's what it comes down to. They have added the routines besides double space to actually do the compression, similar to the style that Stacker 3.1 does. They're kind of an upstart company. Remember that Microsoft wanted Stacker. That's the one that they wanted to start with. And double space is their second choice because of contract negotiations. If you've got 6.0, get 6.02. It is free on the Microsoft bulletin board.
CompuServe.
You can download it from CompuServe. I'm sure you will see it on bulletin boards all over the place as far as
But
the
to buy it, it's
download
only
goes.
$9.95,
It's
right?
$9.95 if you don't have a modem. You've got to have 6.0 to do it, but it'll allow you to decompress your drive. It will do a lot of nifty little things. It's got some nice little features in it. Copy override, a better defrag. It checks your hard drive better than it used to. Have I covered all of it?
You know what's cool?
What's
Auto
that?
mount of floppies.
The floppy auto mount, that's cool. The
You say smart
backup's
drive
been
for
changed
CDs?
up. Smart drive caching for CDs.
Disk duplication.
Oh, now, that's it. You copy floppies, it uses your hard drive. Okay, if you're backing up a lot and just, making copies, it uses your hard drive so that you can do multiple copies real quick. It's one-pass disk duping, basically.
And one of Harvey's
That's really
favorites,
nice.
the commas.
Harvey's favorite, I'll show you
too
Harvey's
cool.
favorite. Do we
In
have a
the-
camera on it?
On the
No,
size of the
okay.
files, instead of saying 2,317,293, it's got little commas so
in
you
the
can
right
read them,
spot.
because it does get kind
Yeah.
of confusing. Sometimes
Oh.
you look at it and think it's 23,000, it's actually 23 million.
Yeah, when you get into gig ranges and you got really large numbers
Right.
sitting out there, it's pretty humorous. The one other thing that I like the
Harvey's
best,
favorite.
watch this. I'll show you this one. Can we get there? Come on, run. Run. I like to watch the cameraman run. Copy, asterisk. Let's
Wait,
see here.
wait,
Did I
wait.
get it? Asterisk dot asterisk.
That's my little
C
computer,
colon
so it's not real
backslash
fast.
You
test.
really aren't a fast typist.
Are you there? Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, we're doing a copy command to a directory called test.
There it is.
And what test is I've just copied the root directory over into there. You hit enter, it will ask you if you want to overwrite now in the DOS level, so you will not replace that file that you didn't want to. It's got a yes, no, or all on all of it.
What happens when you hit all?
The all of them, that's what it does right there. It just overwrites them.
Am I going to be able to use my computer now?
No, it's probably botched up. The other thing that I like about it is the what's the other feature that we were looking at that was kind of cool?
Scan,
The
surface
step through the auto exec and
Oh,
the config
F8,
sys
yeah.
now.
Oh,
If
I
you're
didn't
having
realize.
problems, it's really nice to be able to,
Because it only did the config.sys
Right,
before.
now it does auto
You can
exec
boot
also.
without double space.
And you can boot without double space.
Oh, that's
Thank
great.
you, Bill Gates.
That's great. Okay. Let's keep. You want to
Is
go
that
to the
enough?
next?
Go for it.
All right, great. We've
there's
got
Harvey,
a few
you get
reasons
to
to
answer this
spend
call.
$10.
We're going to sit here and
All
be
right.
quiet.
David, do you have a question?
Yes. I was recently went out and was looking around for a voicemail system, and I was really surprised that the systems I found on the Computer City were real, on a very simplistic level. I was looking for sort of like a mid-level that will do a multi-line. That just is like a business line that will go from line 1 to line 2. Not like you've got 30 lines or something. But I really couldn't find anything like that. I found systems at like $6,000 or $7,000, but I didn't find any mid-level, like $1,000 or $500. And I
You know of any?
There's some,
don't know
yeah.
anything about
Carlos does too.
voicemail.
Okay.
Go.
Carlos. Go.
All right. There's a couple. First of all, I wanted to mention, since you wanted something a little more upscale than something like Tie-In, is that what you saw? Tie-In 2000?
Yeah, those won't switch lines.
Right.
They won't, switch to the second line.
Right. The thing is on a lot of these, what the problem has been is it's made for single lines, not really made for two lines. And for many people, they're personal things. It's not made for a business. There is a product called PC PBX, and it's kind of nifty. and it's not too expensive. It's under $1,000, and what it is, it makes your PC or some PC you have laying around that you're probably not using for anything into a PBX type phone handler. So you can bring in like a trunk or multiple lines into this PBX. It starts out at 4 COs, which are central office lines. And so it starts out at 4 lines, and you can expand, and you can have as many stations and use standard 2500 sets, which are regular analog sets like you have laying around your house that when you plug it into your home outlet, they work.
So do you have like an RJ12?
Right, well, RJ11 actually is what it uses. So that the two conductors are only 2 conductors are working on there. Okay, and those are pretty hot. It's a neat thing. You can buy voicemail for it, and it's run by software, so you can control it from a PC and get all sorts of little reports and stuff on your screen. And as soon as you start adding stuff, it starts going over $1,000.
Where would I find? Where would that be advertised? Or
well, okay, I saw it at Networld, and it's not slated to be a mass merchant product, so you probably won't find it on one of the big chain places this year.
Is that the name of the company, PBX or
PCBX, or I think it's either PCBX or PCPBX. PBX stands for Public Branch Exchange, and it's a type of a telephone switching set.
Okay.
That used to
could I ask one more question?
All right, and I think James knows another one that might be a little. Do you know another one?
That's the same style. There's a couple other ones. Lisa's out there. It's in the $1,000 range and so forth. So there are a few. I recommend that you get hold of to a reseller that you trust. If you're looking for a specialized application, that's where our business comes in. That's when we know. That's where we make our brownie points.
Yeah. Actually, you can I would recommend either somebody that's really into communications on a PC side, or what they call interconnects or telephone people that sell telephone systems might be carrying it. They also have a real fancy one which I like. It's called Call Express, and it works in conjunction with a telephone system. And it is too cool because it does faxing, voicemailing, everything, and it runs in Windows.
All right.
Can I ask one other question?
Sure.
What is the? I currently use the Procom Plus 2. I think it's 01. What is the advantage of the Procom for Windows? What the major difference is?
It's cool.
Yeah, it's push buttons and you can send it to the background. I mean, you can run the Procom underneath Windows and get basically the same effect. It handles about basically the same.
Right. It's the interface more than anything else.
It's more just the look than anything else.
I was just surprised that the Procom for DOS hasn't been upgraded really in the last about 3 years. It's just sort of surprising.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll probably see a new DOS version coming because I hear they're going to add RIP to it.
Oh, terrific.
Okay, so, and that RIP's cool. If you haven't played with RIP, go look at RIP. Get RIP term and play around on a RIP board. It's really nice.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Interesting to note that he brought up, a lot of these DOS programs are on their last legs, or not legs, numbers. Anyway, a lot of people are not going to do further development on the existing DOS programs they have out there. They're going to slow down and send their development efforts elsewhere.
Unless there's a major trend. Something like that, communications is still primarily a DOS market, so most modem stuff's still going to be done.
All right, you ready? David, do you have a question?
Yes, you were talking about multi-tasking a moment ago. Are you guys familiar with what Novell's doing in the area of their upcoming DR-DOS? I think it's supposed to be multitasking. And also, do you guys have you got any familiarity with the Unixware product? I think they call it Univell.
Univell.
Got familiar with both. What do you want to know?
James knows everything.
Whatever your comments are on the upcoming Dr. DOS, I think it's called Dr. DOS 7.0.
It's called Novell DOS 7.
Right.
Okay, and then the Univell product, and then they've got the Novell product 3.1.2 and 4.01 are out.
What do you think about the products, and do you have any comments or criticisms?
the solid products, I still stick with Microsoft just because it's the standard. If you're just going to do networking, DR-DOS is on its, or Novell DOS, excuse me, is on its first run. It seems to be more compatible than the last ones were. But Microsoft has a bad habit of changing stuff to force incompatibility issues. It's a sad state, but that's what happens. And then you get into, well, I got to wait on the operating system upgrade in order to handle the newest version. That's a catch-22. So when I get down to operating systems, I'm pretty much a standards freak. Univel's slick. They really have done a good job, and they're really trying to push it through.
You know anybody using it?
Yeah, I've got a few. Yeah, I got a few.
Is it what runs on it? I mean,
it's Unix operating system tie-in with Novell. Yeah, it's
I thought it also included the DR-DOS came stock with it, as well as the ability to run several different GUIs, including Motif.
Yeah, and
Microsoft Windows will run under it. And it looks pretty slick, especially the price. I think they're quoting now is $240 for a 2-user license, which includes about 4 or 5 different graphical user interfaces.
That's Unixware Personal Edition?
Yeah, that's the personal edition of the Univel.
I thought it was less
Unixware stuff. I think it's under that. I think it's...
That might be retail.
Yeah, that may be
It sounds like it's everything that Microsoft NT is supposed to be in the near future, or maybe sometime in our lifetime. Kind of the way OS2 was a few years back.
Right.
Yeah, and that's pretty accurate. You're right on track. If you're just trying to try two together, it's not a bad solution at all. It's very
Does it support networking, or is it just strictly the host and terminals?
It's host terminal stuff.
It has built-in, I believe, I haven't seen it yet, but I've been reading about it. It has built-in IPX drivers and TCP/IP so that you can connect to a Novell system or a Unix system.
Now, the other thing that you may want to look at is, if you don't want to go to Unix, is look at the personal NetWare, which is NetWare Lite, and the DR-DOS bundle. That's the other set that Novell's come out with. So there's another one if you want to stay out of the Unix end and you're looking for like a peer-to-peer network in a new DOS system.
What about the new Lantastic?
The new Lantastics.
With the RCA plugs?
Yeah, we won't comment on that, guys.
I hope they're not watching it.
Well, we know. He's a nice guy. They have a Lantastic, James and I are laughing, but they have a new network. It's coming out, or it's out, or something. Instead of doing confusing things with coax or twisted pair, they have RCA plugs like your stereo jacks that you plug in.
One other question.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Stay on. We're going to have to take a quick break. We'll answer your question off air here, all right? So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Some people who start forest fires never even set foot in the forest.
Portions of the American Computer Enthusiast Show made possible by Total CAD Systems, your authorized AutoCAD and Autodesk multimedia dealer. For more information on AutoCAD or 3D Studio, call 721-2233.
Because disaster strikes someone every single day, there's always going to be one more night someone needs food, shelter, and a place to rest. Please support the American Red Cross. Because without your help, one more night could be hard to come by.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
I think they'll get the picture.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. You just got a short little segment here. Before we go on, I want to make sure everybody knows next week's show is on Windows. It won't be a live show because the studio is closed for Veterans Day, but we're taping it, so it would be a great show for everyone to watch. Make sure you watch it next week.
But we'll have some surprises, new ways to talk to us
all
next
kinds
week.
of fun stuff. The next week after that will be Comdex 93. We're going to be talking about all the new, we'll be flying in directly from Comdex and talking about all the new fun things we've seen at Comdex. Dean Crutchfield will be on the show, me, and Pat Mahoney will be on there, and Graham. And the following week after that is Thanksgiving, so we're not going to be on the show. We won't have a show on Thanksgiving. But we've got lots of callers here. Do you want to say, anybody want to say anything real fast?
The only thing I want to say real fast is go ahead and pick up the call, but it just happens to be that OCR, optical character recognition, now is the only thing that has zoning.
Okay.
In Houston. That was for Carlos.
Russell, do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
We're operating in an office environment where we've been using, we started out with DBase and evolved into Clipper database programs, and our consultant was going to move us into Windows and network. We went ahead and bought the network, and our relationship with the consultant failed, so now we're in the process of trying to come up with a new, we've got a Novell network, we've got Windows, but we're stuck with this old database program. And my question is, with Office automation and Windows, are there any good database programs in Windows? Should we stick with Clipper or look at some of the new Windows database systems?
All right. We've got a couple answers. What do you think, Carlos?
Well, I happen to think that there's 3 really good databases right now in Windows, 2 by the same manufacturer, Access and FoxPro, and then the other one would be Paradox for Windows. They're a little bit different, kind of depends what you're doing. Again, if you have applications written in Clipper, though, I'd try to find a consultant that's going to either stick with you. Actually, you're kind of fortunate that Clipper has a lot of consultants in Houston, so or one that can transfer you to one of these new databases for Windows.
Good idea to go to Hal PC maybe, and they have a...
Right.
Hal PC, can I put a plug in for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, plug me. That's what we do.
Yeah. He's a Fox.
862-2247. We will unclip it and convert it over to Fox Pro Windows for you in a snap.
I knew we couldn't make it to the show without getting his phone number. All right?
Repeat that number.
862-2247. It's Abus Computers.
All right? Thanks. Thanks for calling. We have 30 seconds. John, do you have a quick question?
Good, thank you. Informix database.
Right.
Anybody give me a handle on what programs I can use to access an Informix database to generate quotations, invoices, etc.?
Informix.
Informix.
You have to have Informix.
I'll tell you what. We're going to have to answer your question off the air.
Okay.
Just hold on there, all right? Don't go anywhere.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for what next week's show. Everybody wave. Everybody wave. Next week, Windows. Watch it next week.